everybody, I'm Carla with Race to Walk, and it is time for another update in Hack the Saga. So what is this? This new channel actually branched off from my Race to Walk channel where I publish Bible studies and book reviews. My tagline was about good words, and they were so good that they all got stolen. And they got stolen by people I knew. People from the apologetics program at Houston Baptist University, now known as Houston Christian University, and an unexpected journal. And that's where it just gets real juicy, because these aren't common criminals. These are people who think they're entitled to other people's work and are completely offended if you try to gain control over your life and accounts again. So anyway, that is what this channel is about. If you go to my website at racetowalk.org, Hack the Saga, you can see all the updates that I have done in this series. Most of them are over on my Race to Walk channel, and I just recently started just streaming them here to its own channel. But in August of 2024, when I first started, I had no idea that the people that I knew were involved in it. I just knew that my work had been plagiarized. I knew that I didn't know exactly what had been going on, but I actually have video evidence in that first live stream from August 4th that the analytics on my YouTube channel were faked. Yeah. Did not even know until very recently that there are such things as called multi-channel networks, where the channel network owner actually has more control over the channels than the actual creators themselves. And in my case, I guess some people join this. I don't know. It's just not really something I was familiar with. But I think that I don't know why people would join it, but I think some of it they're basically media companies, undisclosed media companies that just create, like reality TV shows. Yeah. So they're kind of like the MTV. Some of them are literally that low rent of YouTube, and they just create these channels. The people that you see aren't actually independent creators. And I'm not saying all of them, obviously, but this is what a lot of it is. They're not independent creators. They're basically just paid actors or owned cattle, however you want to look at it. And they just, put out whatever their owner says that they're going to put out. And then they get a lot of fake engagement and views. If you wonder why some channels get a lot of interaction and others don't, some of them may actually have a community, but it also may be that the community is all faked. What they can also do with these multi-channel networks is that they can basically have like a little farm team where the farm team generates views, right? And then the owner can transfer those views and the watch time and the subscribers over to these other channels that they want to feature and spotlight. So this is a case with me. My channel was hijacked into it. I did not willingly or voluntarily join anything. I didn't even know what it was. So my message is, as I've said in other videos, particularly if you are a Christian content creator and you have been wondering why you've been doing all the right, seen any growth, there's a possibility, and a strong possibility, if you've been in some of these Christian YouTube groups, that your channel is actually getting views, but they're being stolen because your account has been hijacked into either the same multi-channel network that I was in or something similar. In one of my updates, they can actually alter the videos I've had. And I mean, if you go back and look at some of the stuff that's been done to my channel, that's an example of it. Specifically, the first videos that were streamed to this particular channel, some of them were the camera was turned upside down. I had a long chat with Restream, who I'm using as a live stream platform, but they're like, we can't do that. That just isn't something that we can do. And it was looking fine to me as I was all the way through. there were parts that looked laggy, but all the way through it was looking fine. But on the channel, it was flipped upside down. And that was because I was also streaming to that compromised YouTube channel that they had control over. So they can do all kinds of things. And it's very, the thing with Google, they have no customer support at all. And you can't get any, even with their properties like AdWords, I literally had a Gmail account where an AdWords account was created and I couldn't delete it. But when I sent an email to Google about it, they said, well, we don't see any evidence of fraud. The evidence of fraud is that the AdWords account existed in the first place because I did not create it as identity theft. Google just doesn't care at all. It doesn't give two snaps about any fraud committed as long as the money's still coming to them. They really could care less. Anyway, so that's what this is about. And I have talked a lot about some of the people that are involved in it. And I continue to talk about it because I've gotten no response from authorities about this, even though I reported Phil Talon, Dean of the School of Christian Thought at Houston Christian University, as one of the people that had hacked my Google account. So had irrefutable evidence about it. And, they don't know if things are crimes. Anyway, but at the beginning of this year, they do the same stuff over and over again. They're one-trick ponies. They just do what they know how to do to steal the work, the fruit of the work of other people. But in the beginning of this year, I started a new series called The Defense Against Digital Dark Arts. And I was talking about how to document, because this isn't just happening to me. It's not just happening to me. How to document and what to document. If you think your work's been stolen, I'm just speaking specifically to content creators and specifically YouTube or Christian content creators, but this can be for anything. There's a lot of fraud going on and in all different areas. And some of it is, the signs of it and how you can track them. It's not, well, I suppose you could get lucky and get like an IP address of, and I have got that actually several times. Several times I have. Like when they broke into or hacked my Zotero. This is the thing. When you have hypocritical fake Christians who are so-called academics, fake academics, after you and your work, this is the kind of stuff they do. They hack your Zotero database, because that was one of the first things I saw. They hacked into the online sync of, so Zotero is a program for citations where you can keep track of them. And so anyway, they hacked into that, and I had an IP address one same day, one for Woodburn and one for Revere, Massachusetts. It's a crime syndicate, I tell you. Anyway, so there's that. But anyway, if something like this is going on, if your work's being stolen, if you think your site's being hacked, your accounts are being hacked, it's probably not going to be one thing. Could be, but probably not one thing that would lead to somebody getting caught or for you to getting some resolution on it. You're probably going to have to show a series of things that have happened. So I've been talking about, I'm publishing a digital defense toolkit, right? I've been saying this since January. I actually started in January, but then came a whole wave of like ongoing attacks, and I've just been basically trying to secure my stuff. But I have it done, or pretty much done. I would have had it done except for something that happened today, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But this is going to be the first level of the toolkit. So it's a digital defense toolkit crisis response. Now, this is Friday afternoon, and Sunday morning, this is going to be up on my site as a download. This is going to be a free download. It's about 60, 70 pages right now. It just kind of goes over the overview, things to look for, different strategies, some basic things of what to do and what to look for, and some tools that you can use. And so that's going to be ready to go on Sunday morning as a download. It's a free download. Just go to my site, racetowalk.org, and there should be something on the homepage then that will say you can download it, or you can go to the Hacked the Saga page and it will be available there. You can get it for a free download if you sign up for my newsletter. So that is my big announcement. But moving on, because I have a couple things I want to share. Okay, so what is this one? I'm not even using my, what did I have next? Oh, okay. So one of the things that has happened, like, they didn't only steal my stuff, steal my commissions, impersonate me and my accounts. I've also had identity theft on my health insurance. So both in Texas and in Oregon, or fraud at some level. So I had shared before that in Texas, when I was there, I had health insurance through the marketplace. And when I came to Oregon, that was canceled. So the last time I had it was in January 2024. Okay, so last year, when I filed my taxes, I had a credit. So I listed that credit on my taxes last year because there was 1 month. But this year when I filed again, I didn't have that, right? I had insurance in Oregon, not in Texas. And so anyway, my tax return got kicked back because it said that you or somebody in your family claimed a premium tax credit last year. And I had to report it. So I had to do some disclaimer or something, I can't remember exactly what it was, to say, no, this wasn't me. And then I reported it. I called healthcare.gov and I told them what had happened. I had it through Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas and told them about it. I asked them to send me any information on that health insurance because that was what would it have been? It would have been 23 months to see if there had been any claims. Never got any response about that. The only response I got from Blue Cross Blue Shield was that it had been closed. So anyway, I filed a report with, it's where do you go to report it? I reported it with the marketplace, and they said, oh, we'll take about 45 days. Never got a response back from them. So I filed a complaint with the U.S. Department of Health Insurance, Health and Human Services, because this is fraud. Okay, it could be a glitch, but that is 23 months of a glitch, right? So either Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas was just taking money that it shouldn't have had, or somebody deliberately, regardless of the reason, if it was just an oops, oh, okay, we're going to just pay all this money to this company for nothing, or somebody deliberately was impersonating me, right? Okay, so this is what it says. It says on February 19th, 2026, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services for Civil Rights, OCR, received your complaint. OCR enforces federal civil rights law which prohibit discrimination in the delivery of health and human services based on race, color, national origin, disability, age, sex, religion, and the exercise of conscience, and also enforces HIPAA policy, security and breach notification rules, and the confidentiality of substance use disorder patient records regulations. Okay, so I'm just realizing as I'm reading this, I should be reporting Salem Health about some of the stuff. But this is the thing, security and breach notification. This is like a security issue, right? There's a health insurance policy out there that's not mine. I don't know. I guess people just aren't really that concerned about fraud. I don't know what the deal is with this. So anyway, and this is, we regret that we are unable to assist you further in this matter. If you have any questions about this letter, please contact Centralized Case Management Operations, blah, 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 McKenna Fuller, Supervisor, Centralized Case Management. It never ends. It literally never ends. It's like the only response I have gotten out of all of the things that I have reported has been SiteGround when I filed a DMCA claim against an unexpected journal because they weren't taking down my essays after I asked them to, and were set. Okay, and so they got taken down, and then they put them back up again, and they started a whole new negative SEO campaign. So last week I did a live stream, so on Friday, called the Dias Cast. Okay, and that was just as I shared. I was just, making it clear that I had not received any response from anybody with the journal. I still have not received any response from anyone with the journal. I have not changed my mind about anything. And also, as it was going on, I had shared last week that they had hacked into my account with the Texas Secretary or the Texas Comptroller's Office and altered information on my Legacy Marketing LLC. They put a phone number I haven't had since December 2024. And they also changed it so that it looked like there were two owners on the account. And I'm not really sure what the point is, unless if like AI is crawling it and the intent was to confuse it, and the last listing listed me as owner but not a director, like I owned it but didn't have control or something, like somebody else did. I don't know what it was, but anyway, that was last week. So this is a response. Have I gotten any acknowledgement, response to the email, letter? Nothing. No. But there was some sort of glitch with the connection. So this right here, as I was connecting to Restream, do you see this challenge here? This is a connection for Restream, the auto authorization, which I don't like. I hate that all these services are going to that, because I think it makes you more likely to be hacked. But that prompt there, that's not normal. And I have done enough of these authorizations that I know that it's not. So I had backed out of it, and I can't remember how I got it connected later. Okay, so after the live stream, this is what happens. I go in there, and what should be happening is that there should be an option on that second line to edit subtitles and upload them. It's not even available for me. Then I go a little bit later, and it says subtitles will be available in 24 hours. That is not a normal, I've never seen that before, ever. And so I was like, crap, did they somehow, because they've been hacking my stuff nonstop. They send losers after me. It's literally like being mugged on a daily basis. No joke. There is just this plethora of criminals here, in the gig economy in Salem that are more just ready to go out and hack sessions for people. And what they can do is they go out and just hack sessions, and then they can sell them on the black market. They're like, these make-ahead meals that you put up in the freezer and just pull them out when you need them. That's basically what it's like. So anyway, I'm thinking, did they hack me into another one of their crappy networks again? I don't know. Didn't know, but that is not normal. So that was basically, I don't know if it's a stuffed session or whatever on this laptop that they had, that they're making it seem like, oh, it's just not available yet. It wasn't available for like a day. Couldn't process the subtitles, or I couldn't go and edit it. What I did, I don't know what the deal was. There was something there. I don't know what that was. The way they alter the transcript. So basically they hack the session to my Gmail account, right? They get into my YouTube channel, and then they alter the transcript and they sabotage it so that it's not going to be hitting any algorithms, right? So it's not going to get any reach. And I was wondering, so how did they do that? Well, then a couple days later, when I'm going back in to edit the transcript, I see how they did it. They have, if you can see this, I had logged in, right? Logged everything else out, and I had logged in, and there's 2 extra sessions there. So those 2 second ones are stolen sessions that they got into the account with. And you can see this. Let me see which, I can't see the date there, but it tells you when the first access, that was, I think it's the first day that that device accessed the account. So that tells you the first time it accessed it, which one of them was like the 13th or 14th. And then this is the other one. So have they stopped? No. They're still like, it's like, this is what was interesting. What was it? I should have went back and looked at this. There were two names. Yeah, it was obvious. You can tell who they're trying to cover for. Whoever the person sabotaging the transcript is trying to cover for by the names that they mangle in the transcript. And the one that was very obvious was Jim Swayze, who was one of the people that Jason Smith sent information about one of the Afghan families that he had hacked off my laptop. And the other one, I didn't really notice this, but Claude, when he was doing an analysis, said that Zach Schmal was another name that he thought was covering up on that. So anyway, are they still at it? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Has there been any acknowledgement, let alone, changing what they're, no, I guess they just figured that they're criminals and this is all that they know how to do. I don't know. But anyway, this is just a reminder. This is who I sent the email to, and I sent it to the general email of an unexpected journal. If anybody's even managing that, then they would have seen it. Sent it to Jason Smith, Jasmine Biggs, Annie Nardoni, Zach Schmal, Grant Broadhurst, Abby Thompson, Jason Monroe, Josiah Peterson, and Seth Myers. That's who I sent it to, and there has been no response. Okay. Okay, so this is interesting. All right. I had a screenshot about this, but it's gone from my thing here. So anyway, the other thing we're talking about is Amazon Access and Security. So I have used Amazon for, a revenue stream for a long time. I had an affiliates program with them or for almost since the very beginning of when they had it. I published on Amazon KDP. I did their Amazon merch thing, and they had accessed my accounts so that there was what it looked like to me. I could never get confirmation about this because Amazon's better than Google, but listen to this. So anyway, they had an overlay on my Amazon KDP account. And so what it looked like to me is that they had demoted my access to like a subsidiary level, put an overlay on the account. And so I wasn't seeing the actual revenue and sales. Okay. So, and I actually saw the change on that a couple of times. So I just, on my publishing company accounts, I removed all my books from Amazon KDP and I closed the account. I also closed my Amazon Associates account. So that means I have to redo all the links. So I created another Associates account and I started links on that. Well, today I go in because I have some things I'm sharing in the toolkit. And there's this weird glitch because it's like, it said I needed to submit tax information or something. I'd already done that. So this is a clue. If there are things like that, like account identifying information that you've already done before and it's triggered again, then that's a clue. Okay, so that was the first clue. So then I'm going in and you can create different tracking IDs. So I was going to create a tracking ID and I thought, I should link it for other marketplaces. So I go into that and you have to acknowledge their operating, hold on. Okay, so let me go back over this. So I'm going to link up my associates account with other marketplaces, right? So like Canada, I can't remember all of them, but anyway, you have to click through on the I think it's the terms and agreement or something like that. And then it clicks to create an account. Okay. So I'm just to recap, I'm going from my brand new associates account created for Effusion Media, my publishing company. And then I'm clicking through to open up another one to link another one like on the Canada marketplace, right? So I've just logged in on this new Effusion Media Group account. When I go to create an account, what pulls up, it says, this is the information on your account. And I look at it, and it is an old address from back in 2024, and that 832 phone number that I haven't had for since December of 2024. So what it was doing is it had linked. I'm logging in, right? I logged in with the new credentials, but there is some link to my original, because originally my associates or account that I had was connected to my personal shopping account. I didn't have a separate one because I didn't create the LLC for Effusion Media until 2019. So it was originally connected to my personal retail account, right? And so it was pulling that information. And so somehow this new account had been linked to this old one, which I'm sure is compromised, right? And I had also closed that first account that was connected to that personal one. So the first one that I had connected to my personal account, that one was closed. When I closed everything out, that one was closed. This one over here, there should be no connection between the two because I wasn't even logged into that other account, right? Okay. So Associates actually has chat support. So I get on the chat support, and literally I was on over an hour. I don't even know. And so there's this one guy, I'm explaining it to him. I said, I've had my Amazon's accounts compromised multiple times. He said, this is what they do. They hack sessions. They demote my account to a subsidiary access, and then they put an overlay on it so that they can, so it looks like I think I have primary access. And then they use an API to they're basically stealing revenue and royalties off of that. And so I said, this is what they've done, right? And so my question was, I wasn't even expecting somebody on a frontline chat to be able to look at it. But what seems obvious to me is that they have access to, I'm sure it's a database level, because if you've worked with databases at all, like for websites, they'll have join tables, right? And so it's like there'll be a table for like a username and their information, right? That's one table, and that each entry has a unique ID, right? And then you'll have another table with this. I'm sure this is how this is working at Amazon, because it's just this basic database structure. This is this person, right? That has this associates account, and that has a unique ID. And then there's a join table that links this ID with this ID, and they should be the same, right? They should be like my account here and my account here should be joined. They should be the same ID, right? But if they change the ID, these are just numbers. As if they change the ID, like, is somebody going to just be able to see that? No, you couldn't just see it. It wouldn't be obviously, something that would stand out to you that you would notice. You'd have to actually oh, here's a problem, and then troubleshoot it, right? Okay. So I'm trying to explain that. I said, I'm sure it's been linked at a database level. And the both of them said, well, this is the only way you can do it. And so the first guy, he was on the chat for a long time. And he's like, well, he's going through the steps. He's troubleshooting it. He's like, this is only account for you on this email. Well, yeah, I know it is because I created this email specifically for this account. I said, this is the one that was connected to before. I gave him the associate's ID that I had. And what's interesting is that the old associate's ID, I'm not sure which one that was though. Yeah, so I had my original personal one, and then I moved it to, I can't remember what was the store ID was, actually. Anyway, but he couldn't find like the other account. He thought it was closed. And so then he's like, well, I'm looking into it. I'm like, okay. And then he's gone. And so I'm like, hello, and somebody else comes on. I said, well, can you read the chat? Can you tell what's going on? And he said, so he goes over it and anyway, he keeps repeating, like, just go through and you remove the addresses and all of this, and you can reauthorize change the password. And I'm like, I've been doing this for 2 years. I know how to change a password. I know I have 2-factor authentication on it. It doesn't fix the problem. If there is somebody who has more like a primary control over this account, I mean, if they've hacked it and changed it so that I'm a subsidiary to something else, I can't, and it doesn't do any good. And then he said, contact, anyway, long story short, I said, I said this to the first guy, I wasn't expecting him to be able to fix the problem. I said, can you forward this to a team that handles like account security and data integrity? And he said, we don't have a team like that. What is going on? Amazon is a multi-billion-dollar company, and they have this massive, their entire business model is basically a website and databases, and you're telling me that there is nobody in the entire country, or not country, company, entire company that investigates stuff like this? What the heck? Oh my gosh, you've got to be kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. Here's the thing. This is what I think. If you had a building owner that did not maintain the property and let people use it, and there were problems, and he knew about it, and he did nothing, then at some point that becomes not only negligence, but criminal negligence, right? You are liable for your structures. And the same is true, I would think, of businesses like Amazon who operate online, but there's no security. There's no security team. There's no data, making sure that the information in these is actually correct. Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh. If that's really true, all I have to say is, number one, class action lawsuits. That's the first thing. Number two, I think there needs to be some legislation. And number three, I guess this is just one more thing that I'm going to have to file complaints with the FTC and the Attorney General's office, because that is utterly inexcusable. And that is just completely inexcusable. And I know that it's not only me, and I know those types of things are going on, because one of the first things I found back in 2024 was when I was doing going to be doing a live stream on their Amazon influencer thing. And so I was took an ISBN from HarperCollins edition of Mere Christianity, and I put it in their option where you can show products on the live stream, right? And I entered in that ISBN, and you want to know what came up? Some janky workbook for Mere Christianity. So the ISBN for the trash workbook was basically, it had basically replaced, or it was that association. They had swapped it in associations. Would you be okay if your bank handled things like that? Oh, okay. Well, so-and-so, this is their account here, but we're just going to swap their account information with this other person. Would you be okay with that? No, well, we're talking money here. Okay, when you're talking Amazon Associates, KDP, that's people's livelihoods. And if you can't be concerned about making sure, I mean, they got rid of like adequate reporting years ago. So obviously they don't care. I mean, it should be audited, but obviously they don't care. Otherwise, it would give you a way to track and really manage your. They don't even give you enough information. They used to. They used to have a spreadsheet, and you could tell a little bit better about where the actual revenue is coming from. But they got rid of that. So you can't really check to make sure that what you're getting paid is accurate, right? And so anyway, so obviously it's not a high priority, but this is just utterly inexcusable. But anyway, so that was today. And so if you, like I said, I will have the crisis response for the Digital Defense Toolkit up on my website on Sunday morning. And you can go to my website, racetowalk.org, and sign up for my newsletter. You can download a copy, or you can go ahead and sign up for my newsletter now. Just go to racetowalk.org or directly to resources.racetowalk.org and sign up, and I'll be sending out a link for that Sunday morning. So anyway, also a reminder for that, when you sign up for the newsletter, you have to make sure you confirm your subscription, because otherwise you're not going to get any, you won't be signed up. And if you don't see it, make sure you check your spam box so it might be there. So anyway, that's it for today. I hope you all have a great Memorial weekend. And yeah, there's just so many shady people out there, and people who aren't need to start fighting back. And that's part of the purpose of my toolkit, to create a database of evidence that law enforcement, our representatives, attorney generals can work off of and start putting some of these criminals in their place. So anyway, that's enough for today, and I'll talk to y'all later.